Thanks for joining us here on Ravens Rundown. Tyler Jones here as we have the latest from Ravens training camp talking about Lamar Jackson. This dude is on fire. We'll also talk about Nate Wiggins, who's been impressing the rookie out of Clemson. Got some great details to get to coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, we got a little bit of a battle here in the state of Maryland. Maryland's real team, the Baltimore Ravens and the Washington Commanders, in a bit of a sub-battle. We're trying to see if we can pass the commies in subs. You can see they're at 17,469. We're at 17,036. For daily Ravens coverage, we're going to be live for games throughout the season, interactive Q&A mailbags, breaking news, and more. You got to subscribe to the channel. Lock us in for daily Ravens updates throughout training camp and beyond. Best part about it, absolutely 100% free. YouTube.com/RavensTV to subscribe now for free. You'll be glad you did. Lamar Jackson, the two-time NFL MVP, made his return to Ravens training camp this week after battling illness, and he picked up like he never left, back like he never left, right? And yesterday's practice was the best that he's looked in training camp, and for a guy that we have such high expectations for, somehow he continues to surpass them time and time again. Jonas Shaffer of the Baltimore Banner said the following on Lamar Jackson. Unofficially, he ended his most accurate day of training camp, 22 for 28 overall in team drills, finishing 16 of 20 in 11-on-11 action and 6 of 8 in 7-on-7. This is encouraging to see that Lamar, even after a week where he was sick, where he was out of the equation, if you will, is still carrying that same momentum from last season. And you think about this, right? When we look at those passing numbers, I think a very important detail that if you look around, what people are talking about when it comes to Lamar Jackson, they say that, hey, Lamar's not this great passer and all that. And I'm quick to remind the folks, correct the record, this is a guy that in his first MVP season led the NFL in touchdown passes. He is a better passer than people give him credit for. A completion percentage of 67% last year. Lamar showing off the arm and the passing ability. If you put him in the situation to thrive as a passer, he will capitalize on it. He's a better passer than given credit for. And Warren Sharp of Sharp Football had this to say on Lamar Jackson, looking at just the season ahead for Lamar here in 2024. Lamar Jackson is coming off another MVP season in which he averaged a career-high 8 yards per pass attempt. How about that, folks? With a 5.3% touchdown rate and a 1.5% interception rate. Oh, yeah. He also added 821 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground, helping the offense finish fourth in yards per play, 5.9, in 6 in points per drive. Now, this offense has some new pieces, right? We're certainly excited about Derrick Henry coming to town, and you look at this receiving core with Tez Walker now a part of the equation, some changes, right? And they need to figure out who those key targets are. We talked about on yesterday's show of trying to use more 12 personnel, right? Trying to use more 2 tight end sets with Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews on the field together. So seeing Lamar Jackson already on fire is a very good sign that this passing attack is going to be better than what people think. Obvious, this team goes as he does, right? Lamar Jackson, if he is playing great, then this team as a whole is going to be playing great this year. And for me, I look at Lamar Jackson. We know what he's capable of. We've seen how good he can be. And if those guys are on the same page with Lamar, they're going to make this work. So with that said, is this going to be the third MVP season for Lamar Jackson? And in my mind, he's already a first-ballot Hall of Famer. What do you guys think? Is this going to be another MVP season for Lamar Jackson in 2024? Let us know. Y for yes, N for no. Way in the comments section. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time, the best place to go for last-minute tickets, the best seats, and the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Maybe you want to go to an Orioles game. They have the games and the prices listed. Then you can see if you like the seat or not, get the visual, if you will, and you're checking out within a matter of moments with all major credit card providers, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo. Very simple and easy, folks. And we mentioned the $20 off, promo code ChatSports. Simple as that, folks. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. All right, let's move on now and shift gears to the defensive side of the ball as Nate Wiggins continues to impress. The Ravens' first-round pick out of the University of Clemson was a player that we've heard Eric DeCosta say in the past they were not expecting to be available when they picked at 30 after the run on offensive players that occurred at the beginning of this draft. A guy like Nate Wiggins slipped through the cracks, if you will, and was available when the Ravens picked. And already we're seeing Nate Wiggins impress and make his case to be one of the starting outside corners for this Ravens team, competing alongside Marlon Humphrey and Brandon Stevens. We talked about on yesterday's show how the Ravens, all of this is going to lead to some tough decisions to make, that Nate Wiggins is certainly making things interesting, and he's already caught the attention of his defensive coordinator, Zach Orr. Orr said the following yesterday on Wiggins. Nate, he's a heck of a football player. He's an instinctive player, so you don't want to take that away from him, but you just continue to just try to tell him to play within the system. He has natural ability, so he's going to make his fair share of plays by doing his job, which he's done so far at camp. Wiggins, a first-round pick out of Clemson, was a first-team All-ACC selection last year. Kuiper had him as the number 4 corner in this draft and the number 25 player overall. So just incredible value for the Ravens to still be able to pick him up at that number 30 pick when they did so. And this is a guy that they're not waiting around for. This is somebody that they expect to be an instant impact player right away for this Ravens defense. And you think about this secondary, right? Nate Wiggins there. We mentioned Stevens and Marlon Humphrey, and then also TJ Tampa enters the mix as well. I mean, you got some really good options. And Arthur Maulet's still around. And you look at the safety room as well with Kyle Hamilton, Eddie Jackson, Marcus Williams. I think it was a couple weeks ago, PFF rated the Ravens secondary towards the bottom of the NFL, and I just don't see it, folks. This secondary, to me, looks like one of the best secondaries in all of football. And I have full confidence in Nate Wiggins, in his ability to jump into this already stacked secondary and make it even better, right? And think about this as well. We've seen the Ravens over the years have some bad luck when it comes to the injury front in the secondary. Last year, they had to make a last-minute call to Ronald Darby to join this secondary because of the injuries, and it paid off. Darby played pretty solid, all things considered. Now this team is in a spot where if there is an injury, if something happens, they have more than enough bodies to get the job done, and Nate Wiggins is going to be a big part of that. You go back and look at his coverage stats last year at Clemson. He only allowed 176 yards, a quarterback rating of 44. He is the essential lockdown corner type and still had 2 interceptions and 6 pass breakups as well. Steve Wyche of the NFL Network, my guy Steve Wyche, great friend, does an incredible job covering the National Football League. He's their chief national correspondent for NFL media. He said the following. He was at Ravens training camp yesterday, and he said the following. I've spoken to several people out there who said he's been one of the most impressive players at training camp. He is tall, very long corner, but the closing speed, the overall speed he has caught everyone's attention. Not only how he can cover, but the way he closes space if a receiver gets behind him. I love, too, that he's a lot different mold than Marlon Humphrey. These are 2 completely different players here, and this adds versatility to this Ravens defense. It allows for Zach Orr to really get creative with the personnel packages that they can potentially bring to the table there for this Baltimore Ravens secondary. Who's going to have more picks this year? Is it going to be Marlon Humphrey or is it going to be Nate Wiggins? Type NW for Nate Wiggins. Type MH for Marlon Humphrey. Weigh in the comments section and let us know what you think. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Ravens Rundown. We will continue to bring you daily Ravens coverage throughout all of training camp. So lock us in. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/RavensTV. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.